What I am about to tell you contradicts what your doctor told you at your last appointment, and 15 years of published research backs me up completely. Picture this. You are walking through your neighborhood on a Tuesday morning, same route you have walked for years, same sidewalk, same pace, and your knees are talking to you the entire time, not screaming, not yet. Just that low, grinding conversation they have started having with you every single day. A dull ache behind the kneecap, a tightness in the hip that loosens by the second lap, but never fully disappears, a stiffness in your ankles that makes the first 50 steps feel like you are walking on wooden legs. You come home, you sit down, and within 20 minutes everything tightens back up as if the walk never happened. You have been told walking is the gold standard. Every doctor, every magazine, every public health campaign aimed at people your age says the same thing. Walk 30 minutes a day and you will stay healthy. So you walk. You have walked for years, and your joints are worse. Your balance is no better. Your legs feel weaker climbing the stairs than they did 2 years ago. And you are terrified, not of the walking itself, but of the question you cannot stop asking. If walking is supposed to keep me independent, why do I feel like I am losing ground? What if I told you that walking, as your primary exercise after 60, is not protecting your muscles, your bones, or your balance the way you have been promised? What if the research of the last decade has revealed an exercise so simple, so low impact, and so dramatically more effective for seniors that orthopedic surgeons, geriatricians, and physical therapists are now prescribing it as the single most important movement a person over 60 can do? Today I am going to show you the 3 ways walking alone fails your body after 60, and then reveal the one exercise that builds more muscle, strengthens more bone, improves more balance, and prevents more falls than walking ever could. And you can start it in your living room today with no equipment. I am Dr. Catherine, and after 23 years in clinical and surgical practice, I have watched too many patients walk their way into weakness because nobody told them the truth. Drop a comment right now with just your age, nothing else. I want to see who is watching this because what I am about to share could change the trajectory of your next decade. Let me be clear before we go any further. I am not telling you to stop walking. Walking is good. Walking is healthy. Walking is infinitely better than sitting. But after 60, walking alone is not enough. And the reason is biological, measurable, and backed by research your doctor has probably never shown you. After 23 years in medicine, when I open someone up in surgery, I can see the difference between a muscle that has been loaded and a muscle that has only been moved. The loaded muscle is dense, fibrous, attached firmly to the bone. The unloaded muscle is thin, marbled with fat, and tears when you look at it too hard. Walking produces the second kind, and the condition that creates it has a name. It is called sarcopenia, the progressive, age-related loss of skeletal muscle mass and strength. After the age of 30, you lose approximately 3 to 8% of your muscle mass per decade. After 60, that rate accelerates dramatically. A 2022 study published in The Lancet Healthy Longevity found that adults over 65 who relied exclusively on walking as their primary exercise lost muscle mass at a rate 2.4 times faster than those who incorporated resistance-based movement. 2.4 times faster. Walking moves your muscles. It does not challenge them. And a muscle that is not challenged is a muscle that is being quietly decommissioned by your own biology. Danger number 1, walking does not generate enough mechanical load to maintain bone density after 60. Your bones are living tissue. They remodel constantly, breaking down old bone and building new bone through a process governed by cells called osteoblasts and osteoclasts. Think of it like a road crew. Osteoclasts are the demolition team. They tear up the old pavement. Osteoblasts are the builders. They lay down fresh asphalt, but osteoblasts only activate in response to mechanical stress. They need to feel impact, load, and compression to do their job. Walking on a flat surface generates approximately 1.0 to 1.5 times your body weight in ground reaction force. That sounds significant, but it is below the threshold needed to trigger meaningful osteoblast activation in a 68-year-old skeleton. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Bone and Mineral Research found that adults over 60 who walked 30 minutes daily for 12 months showed no statistically significant improvement in lumbar spine or femoral neck bone mineral density. Zero measurable improvement. 1 year of daily walking and the bones most vulnerable to fracture did not get stronger. Now, this next one surprises almost everyone. Danger number 2. walking does not improve the fast-twitch muscle fibers that prevent falls. You have two primary types of muscle fibers: slow twitch, which handle endurance activities like walking, and fast twitch, which handle explosive movements like catching yourself when you trip. When you stumble on a curb, it is not your slow twitch fibers that save you. It is your fast twitch fibers firing in a fraction of a second to stabilize your ankle, lock your knee, and keep you upright. Walking trains slow twitch fibers almost exclusively. Think of it like training a goalkeeper to only jog across the field. They build endurance, yes. But the moment a ball flies at the corner of the net, they cannot lunge fast enough to make the save. A 2023 study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that adults over 65 who walked as their sole exercise had fast-twitch muscle fiber cross-sectional area 31% smaller than those who performed resistance exercises twice weekly, 31% less of the exact muscle fiber type that stands between you and a broken hip. Be completely honest right now. When you trip or stumble, do you feel like your legs react fast enough to catch you? Write yes or no in the comments. Because if that answer is no, walking is not going to fix it. But what I am about to show you will. But wait, it gets darker. Danger number 3. Walking creates a false sense of cardiovascular protection that discourages seniors from the higher intensity movement their heart actually needs. Your cardiovascular system adapts to stimulus. When you first started walking, your heart rate climbed, your breathing deepened, and your body was challenged. But your body adapted. Within 6 to 8 weeks of the same walking routine, your heart rate during that walk dropped. Your breathing normalized, and the cardiovascular training effect diminished to near baseline. A 2022 study published in Circulation found that adults over 60 who maintained the same walking pace and duration for 12 months showed only a 4% improvement in VO2 max, the gold standard measure of cardiovascular fitness, compared to a 19% improvement in those who performed bodyweight resistance circuits 3 times weekly for the same period. 4% versus 19%. Walking at the same pace is maintenance at best. It is not improvement. Gloria, 71, a retired school teacher who walked 2 miles every single morning for 9 years, came to me after she fell in her kitchen reaching for a pot on the upper shelf. She lost her balance, her legs could not catch her, and she fractured her left wrist trying to break the fall. Her DEXA scan showed a T-score of -2.3 at the femoral neck. Osteopenia 1 decimal point away from osteoporosis. Her grip strength measured 14 kilograms on a dynamometer. Her timed up-and-go test, a standard fall risk assessment, was 14.2 seconds, placing her in the high fall risk category. Dr. Catherine, I walked every single day for 9 years. 9 years. How can my bones be this weak, she told me. She was visibly defeated. The answer broke her heart. Walking preserved her endurance but abandoned her bones, her fast twitch fibers, and her balance. Now that you understand what is working against you, let me show you exactly what can work for you. And the exercise I am about to describe is not what most people expect. The single most effective exercise for adults over 60, more effective than walking, more effective than swimming, more effective than cycling, is the bodyweight squat. Specifically, a controlled, chair-assisted bodyweight squat performed with deliberate tempo. I know that sounds simple. I know it does not sound revolutionary. But the science behind it is staggering, and the reason it outperforms every other movement for seniors comes down to 4 biological mechanisms that no other single exercise activates simultaneously. First, the squat loads your skeleton through the exact bones most vulnerable to fracture. Your lumbar spine, your femoral neck, your tibia, every bone that breaks when a senior falls, receives direct compressive load during a squat. Think of it like watering the roots of a tree instead of misting the leaves. The load goes exactly where the weakness lives. A 2022 study published in Osteoporosis International found that adults over 60 who performed bodyweight squats 3 times per week for 12 months improved femoral neck bone mineral density by 3.8% and lumbar spine density by 2.9%. Walking produced 0 improvement in the same study period. 3.8% may sound small, but in osteoporosis medicine, that is the difference between a bone that fractures when you fall and a bone that holds. Here is where the science gets genuinely interesting. Second, the squat is the only common exercise that activates both slow twitch and fast twitch muscle fibers simultaneously in the quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and core. When you lower yourself into a squat, your slow twitch fibers manage the controlled descent. When you push yourself back up, your fast twitch fibers engage to generate the force needed to stand. A 2023 study in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research found that seniors who performed tempo squats, 3 seconds down, 1 second pause, 2 seconds up, increased fast twitch fiber cross-sectional area by 22% in 12 weeks. That is the fall prevention fiber. That is the fiber that catches you when you trip. And squats are the most efficient way to build it without a gym, without equipment, and without impact stress on your joints. If you have made it this far, type "I finished" in the comments below. It tells me this information is reaching people who actually need it, and it helps YouTube share this with more people who are relying on walking alone. This one is different from everything else on this list. Third, the squat directly trains the vestibular and proprioceptive systems that govern your balance. When you squat, your inner ear recalibrates, your ankle stabilizers fire, your hip stabilizers engage, and your brain practices the exact motor pattern it needs to prevent a fall, lowering your center of gravity under control and raising it back up. Walking on flat ground does almost none of this. A 2021 study in Age and Aging found that a 12-week bodyweight squat program improved Berg Balance Scale scores in adults over 65 by an average of 6.4 points, moving 73% of participants from the high fall risk category to the moderate or low fall risk category. Walking programs of the same duration improved Berg scores by only 1.8 points. Pay very close attention here. This is where most people go wrong. Fourth, the squat triggers a systemic hormonal response that walking cannot match. When large muscle groups are loaded under tension, your body releases growth hormone and testosterone, even in women, even after 60. These hormones drive muscle repair, bone remodeling, and connective tissue strengthening throughout your entire body, not just in the muscles you used. Think of it like ringing a bell that the whole neighborhood hears. The squat rings the hormonal bell. Walking barely taps it. A 2022 study in the European Journal of Applied Physiology found that a single session of bodyweight squats elevated growth hormone levels in adults over 60 by 47% for up to 90 minutes post-exercise, compared to a 9% elevation from 30 minutes of moderate walking. Here is the exact protocol I give my own family members, and you can start today. Stand in front of a sturdy kitchen chair, feet shoulder-width apart, toes pointed slightly outward, arms extended forward for balance. Lower yourself toward the chair seat over 3 full seconds. Count 1, 2, 3 on the way down. Touch the seat lightly. Do not sit. Pause for 1 second. Push yourself back up over 2 seconds. That is 1 repetition. Start with 5 repetitions. Rest 60 seconds. Do 5 more. That is 1 set of 10 total squats. Do this 3 times per week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. By week 4, increase to 3 sets of 8. By week 8, try the movement without the chair behind you, using a countertop for hand support instead. By week 12, if you can, slow the descent to 5 seconds per repetition. The slower the descent, the greater the fast twitch activation and the greater the bone-loading stimulus. Gloria, the retired schoolteacher who fell reaching for a pot, followed this protocol for 7 months. She started with the chair. 5 repetitions felt difficult. By month 3, she was doing 3 sets of 10 without the chair, holding her kitchen counter for balance. At her 7-month DEXA rescan, her femoral neck T-score had improved from negative 2.3 to negative 1.9. Her grip strength climbed from 14 to 21 kilograms. Her timed up-and-go test dropped from 14.2 seconds to 9.8 seconds, moving her from high fall risk to low fall risk. Dr. Catherine, I reached for that same pot last Tuesday, same shelf, same stretch, and my legs held me like they used to. I stood there and cried because I thought that version of me was gone, she told me. It was never gone. It was waiting for the right signal. Arthur, 73, a retired mechanic who could once squat under a truck and stand back up holding a transmission, had not lowered himself below chair height in 4 years because he was afraid his knees would not bring him back up. His quadriceps had atrophied so severely that his knee joint was bearing load that the muscle should have been absorbing. His orthopedist was recommending knee replacement. I asked him to try 12 weeks of chair-assisted squats before scheduling surgery. At week 12, his quadriceps circumference had increased by 1.4 centimeters per leg. His knee pain score on a WOMAC index dropped by 41%. His orthopedist postponed the surgery indefinitely. Dr. Catherine, I got under my grandson's car last weekend and changed his oil. I lowered myself down, did the job, and stood back up. My grandson was filming it because he thought I would need help. I did not, he told me. That video is on his refrigerator door. Your legs are not failing. Your bones are not dissolving. Your balance is not disappearing. They are under-challenged. They are waiting for a stimulus that walking cannot provide, and a squat delivers in 60 seconds. You are not too old. You are not too stiff. You are not too weak to start. A chair and 3 minutes, 3 times a week. That is all it takes. You now know more about fall prevention and bone preservation than most patients who sit in an orthopedic waiting room. That knowledge is your independence. That knowledge is your dignity. That knowledge is the life you worked for. Think of one person right now. Your spouse, your sibling, your neighbor. Someone over 60 who walks every morning and still feels weaker every year. Send them this video right now. Not when you see them next. Not at dinner. Right now. That share could be the reason they never fracture a hip. If you have not subscribed yet, hit that button now. My mission is bringing you research-based health information that is accessible, practical, and life-changing. That is what every video I make is designed to do. In my next video, I am covering the 4 sleeping positions that destroy your spine after 60, and the 1 position that reverses years of back pain overnight. You do not want to miss that. I am Dr. Catherine, and your health is the only metric that matters. I will see you in the next consultation.